Hello, I'm here, top of Churchley, Primark, Bold Street End. It's very busy, noisy Tuesday afternoon. Once again, walking in and around our Cherry City Centre. Cultural change. There's more and more. More universal Scousers. Seem to be changing our Cherry City Centre's status, identity, character, more and more by the day. I regularly come down here, ladies and gentlemen, as you all know, right? And I see the change underway firsthand, right? This is a change. There is no ifs or buts about it. It's a change. Long term is not going to be in our city's best interest. That's the complete opposite. Was it in Birmingham's best interest? What's happened to the original host Brummies? Was it in their best interest? No, most have gone, driven out. Was it in the interest of the host Cockneys that were once there in London? No, they've been driven out, gone. And so on and so on. So the same will be here in our city. Will it be in our city's long-term interest? Well, the answer is no. More and more Scousers will be replaced by universal Scousers. That's how it works, ladies and gentlemen, in the real world, right? That's how it works. Now, don't blame me for that. That's how it works, right, in the real world. Not the fantasy world, refugees welcome, diversity or strength baloney, right? That's not the real world. This is the real world, what you're seeing now. The real world in Birmingham, London, Leicester, many other places. Why we need to oppose what is happening. We have to do it now, ladies and gentlemen. We can't wait any longer. Any forthcoming elections, find a candidate reliable, credible, opposed to further cultural change, and give them your vote. Council elections, general elections, by-elections, whatever. This must be opposed now. We leave it too long, we're going to be in big trouble, right? There's no ifs or buts about it. We will be in big trouble. Like I said in yesterday's video and previous ones, there is no cultural rewind button, right? Once our city changes, it changes. There is no changing it back. It's gone, right? It is gone forever. That's what happens. That's what happens to London, Leicester, Birmingham. Sorry for repeating myself, but I need to hammer home what's at stake here and the threat cultural change poses. Look what's happened to Kensington and Fairfield. Look what's happened to Lawrence Road. Look now what's happening along Breck Road, County Road, West Derby Road, Stanley Road even, I'm being told, Egbert Road, Penny Lane. We can see what is happening. Everyone knows what's happening, right? We've got to put it into action, right? Frustration and anger, you must put it into action, right? At election time. The only way, marching, demos, yeah, might let off a bit of steam, but that's about all. Nothing else will come of it. Nothing else can come of it. You've got to vote those out responsible for this outrage being perpetrated upon our glorious city, right? They know what they're doing, of course they do, right? They know exactly what they're doing and they don't care, right? All they care about is career. If they cared, they'd be addressing this, ladies and gentlemen. They wouldn't be ignoring it. If anyone believes that I'm exaggerating or nothing's really happening, everything's really still the same, then if you're not prepared to travel to Kensington and Fairfield, Lawrence Road, then come down to our Cherry City Centre and you will see what is happening. You will see firsthand the change underway, right? The change is here, it's real and present. Does anyone really believe new arrivals coming here into our city have got our children and grandchildren's interests at heart. You'd have to be mad to believe that. Literally mad. You need to give your head a wobble. They're laughing at us, you know they are, right? They don't respect what we're giving them, they're laughing at us. Sure, there's some, but by and large, especially the culture that doesn't want to assimilate, want to dominate, they most certainly will be laughing, right? Handing everything over to them, ladies and gentlemen. Our Scouse economy, they're dominating everything, cornered every market, pushed us out, everyone knows they have. Well, the good people of Liverpool have got Joe Owens here in their corner. And all I can do is deliver the awful truth and give you some advice. Come election time, like I say, find a candidate reliable, credible, opposed to further cultural change, and give them your vote. We lead this much longer, ladies and gentlemen, there'll be no cultural rewind button. Remember, there's no cultural rewind button. Once this changes, it's changed for good. There's no cultural rewind button for Kensington and Fairfield and Lawrence Road. That's very sad, but it's the truth, the awful truth. So, that's why I'm down here. Okay, sir, that's why I'm down here. Because this is serious, very serious, what is happening. There is only one outcome, and that's further cultural change. There's nothing else that can come of this. If there's another outcome, then let me know. If Kensington and Fairfield is going to revert back to how it once was, Lawrence Road is, and many other places, and the cultural change taking place along County Road, Breck Road, West Derby Road, that's going to vanish, and those communities will return to how they were. Show me then. But that's not going to happen. There's no cultural rewind button. Right. Them places now are changed. We have to just accept that, ladies and gentlemen. But what we don't have to accept is further cultural change. We have the power to stop it, right? We have the power to stop it. They don't have the power, we do at election time, remember that, right? You've got to think of your children and grandchildren, ladies and gentlemen, right? They don't care about their own, let alone ours. These reckless politicians, right? Ian Bain in particular, you've watched what's happened to the town of Wembley and the borough of Brent. Each time you've watched Liverpool play at Wembley Stadium, you know more than anyone. Yet you see the same transformation underway here in our city, and you're turning a blind eye to it, right? It's scandalous what you're doing. It's shocking. You know it is, right? You know exactly what you're doing. You know why you're doing it. Because you're putting career first and maybe some misguided ideological dogma you still follow. I don't know. But you can't ignore it forever. That's one good thing about this. It can't be ignored forever. Eventually, even you are going to have to deal with it, right? Wouldn't it be better doing it now rather than later when you're looking rather silly and you're getting voted out? But you're not going to, unfortunately. You're going to stick doggedly and stubbornly to just ignoring it or spouting the usual nonsense, refugees welcome, without actually elaborating what does that mean. How many does it mean? How long does it mean for? Well, exactly, you don't elaborate, you don't specify, you just say refugees welcome. Yeah, okay, how many and for how long? Well, anyway, like I say, ladies and gentlemen, we've got Joe Owens here in your corner. I won't abandon you. You've got to vote them out, ladies and gentlemen. There is no other alternative. You can march, demo, do whatever you want. That's not going to solve anything, right? Let a bit of steam off, that's about all, but it's not going to solve anything. Look what's happening to our city, right? Our Scouse economy being taken from us. Scouse schools. Scouse children becoming a minority in those schools. Our cherished city centre become an unfamiliar, unfriendly place. long-standing proud Scouse communities that have been there generations being changed. What would our forefathers think? Hey, ask yourself, what would our forefathers think? What is happening now to our city if you're here? They'd be outraged, right? And rightly so. All the sacrifice all being for nothing, you know. Well, you've got a choice now at election time to vote them out, right? That's what you've got a choice to do now at election time, is to vote these reckless politicians out before we lose our city. Because that's where it's going. Long term, this is going to be disastrous, right? Come 5 or 10 years, no, sorry, I'll rephrase that again. Come 5 years, our city is going to be a different place, right? There is no other direction it can go in except further cultural change. If unlimited numbers of new arrivals coming into our city is not stopped, right? Everyone knows what's happening. Everyone can see what's happening. New arrival, they're laughing at us, ladies and gentlemen. They're just laughing at us. They haven't got our children and grandchildren's best interest at heart. They're laughing at us. I'm sorry to say that, but they are. You know, hurts me to say it in my own city, what these politicians are allowing to happen. This is an outrage, ladies and gentlemen, an outrage. And it must be opposed, it must be stopped. That's why I'm down here, right? I wouldn't be down here otherwise, right? But anyway, just remember, come election time, vote them out, right? The only way we're going to change things, right? Other than that, this will just continue until our city's gone, until it's like London, Leicester, Birmingham, large parts of Bradford, Oldham, Keighley, Halifax, Rod. Like I say, ladies and gentlemen, they're laughing at us, right? They're laughing at us. And it hurts me to say this, right? But they are laughing at us. You can't blame them, I suppose, but these reckless politicians, they must be thinking they've lost lead of the senses. But anyway, I'm going to go now, ladies and gentlemen. I've made my point once again. But remember, say no to cultural change, yes to Scouse pride. Shout it out loud, Scouse and proud. Okay, thank you.